If you like videos like these and you want to see them a day before they go up on YouTube, head over to LBRY. It's an awesome alternative to YouTube and I absolutely love it. Hey everybody, it's your friend and your guy and your favorite Firefox fanboy, Gardiner. Yes, I did get a haircut. No, I didn't intend for it to be this short. But I'm dealing with it. So yeah, it's no secret that I absolutely love Mozilla Firefox. It's my favorite web browser, and just a few days ago I made a video talking about my favorite features in Firefox. It could have been like a couple weeks ago now at this point, but you get the idea. I talk about Firefox quite a bit on my channel. But what you might not know is that I actually really like Mozilla, the organization, as well. Now, I know that there's going to be a few people in the audience who are going to hear that I like Mozilla, and immediately their brain shuts off, they go into conspiracy theorist mode. Hi, bye. But let me go over the reasons that I like Mozilla, and let's talk about what this whole thing that's going down with them means. So Mozilla Executive Chairwoman Mitchell Baker took to official Mozilla channels to announce a corporate restructuring of the organization. In this restructuring, about 250 people are going to be losing their jobs. That's 25% of their entire workforce. That's a huge percentage of the organization. If you saw my previous video, you'll know that one of my absolute favorite features of Firefox is the developer tools. Firefox's developer tools are hands down the best developer tools in the industry. You cannot get a better, more complete set of developer tools than what is included in Firefox. These tools are what have enabled me to build my various websites, including hellostory.org, which is a site dedicated to archiving public domain literature, including antique children's books. So imagine my dismay when these major cuts to the organization are coming primarily from the developer tools team. That's just awful news. According to an internal memo from Baker herself, quote, "In order to refocus the Firefox organization, we must reduce investment in some areas such as developer tools, internal tooling, and platform-specific features." So yeah, they're cutting investment in the developer tools in Firefox. Frankly, I don't believe you can have a worthwhile web browser if you don't have significant investment in developer tools. Especially if you're already the industry leader and you are divesting from your position and thereby decreasing the value of your end product. And it's not just because I'm a web developer and it's something that I personally use. I really believe that if you're building a web browser to industry standards, it makes sense for you to build your implementation of those standards in a way that is capable of being reverse engineered through the inspector tools. What's more is that it seems like Mozilla's other first-class team, the developer relations team, developer support and community management, is being axed as well. Reports are that the team behind the Mozilla Developer Network, which I'm not alone in esteeming as the single greatest resource for developers in existence, is being significantly reduced. So if you're not a web developer like me, you might not understand that there are many, many, many ways to actually build the thing that you need to build. If you need to submit form data, I can think of like 5 ways just off the top of my head that you could submit form data through a web browser to a server. If you want to find documentation on how to implement any of these things, from raw HTML to the most obscure methods in JavaScript, MDN, Mozilla Developer Network, is the best resource for that. Nothing else compares. MDN is the prime thing. In fact, Google often cites MDN in their resources. That's how influential MDN is. Gutting the team behind that hurts the internet. Or if you want to be pedantic, the World Wide Web. No, I'm going to stick with the internet. It hurts the internet. With your people writing documentation on MDN, that's going to make new web features and new web standards just that much harder to grasp for new and existing developers. And that's criminal to me. Another team reportedly losing staff is threat management, a team that should be without compromise in an organization that is building something as ubiquitous as a web browser. Other reductions to Mozilla's staff include WebXR and Servo, the former being virtual reality and augmented reality implementation for your browser, and Servo being an experimental web renderer written in Rust. Speaking of, Mozilla doesn't just make Firefox. Mozilla is an organization that is kind of a giant in the tech industry, especially for the size of its actual workforce. They've made or implemented so many of the most amazing technologies that we use to this day. For example, Rust. We just talked about it. Rust was originally made at Mozilla. Yeah, Rust. The programming language that has ranked #1 favorite programming language on Stack Exchange since 2016. Rust was originally created at Mozilla. And then Mozilla's Common Voice. Common Voice is an open data set of human voice samples that is used by tons of projects looking to implement open source voice recognition software. I'm talking about companies like Mycroft. They use this open data set from Mozilla. Suffice it to say, there are a lot of things that Mozilla does and does well. I know that there's a certain amount of hate and skepticism towards Mozilla, some of it earned, some of it not. But the fact of the matter is, Mozilla makes a big fuss about fixing the internet. Arguably, their focus on developers was one of their critical means to that end, right? Fixing the internet. You can't decentralize the web if you have fewer web developers armed with worse off information and they all end up using Chromium derivatives for their development. Mozilla laying off a quarter of their workforce, it feels like the sun is less bright today, you know? I know that money is tight, but I feel like Mozilla restructuring here puts the web in a much more precarious position. Hopefully this is the right move. Hopefully this will put Mozilla in a better position. It will increase Firefox's market share. But I mean, cutting 25% of your workforce seems desperate. I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about Mozilla restructuring like this? What do you think of Mozilla as an organization? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. I want to give a special shout out to Files Copying, one of my top tier Singularity members on Patreon. Files Copying, my dude. Your support is truly appreciated. If you want to join the army of amazing people who support this show and the work that I do here, head over to Patreon. There's a link down below. It's very much appreciated. There's a couple other cool things I do. LBRY is one of them. But I think that's going to do it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your guys hanging out with me today. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Have a blessed day.